What I'm saying is the defense did an excellent job today in proving that Laquan McDonald was not walking away from Officer Jason Van Dyke. Instead, he was closing the distance. He was getting closer. He was not walking away from Jason Van Dyke. He was getting closer to him. That, coupled with the fact that this movement is clear to me when he extends that knife blade out, that tells me without a shadow of a doubt Laquan McDonald's intentions was to go on the offensive. He was going to attack Officer Jason Van Dyke. Deadly force in that situation was absolutely justified, without a shadow of a doubt in my mind. When I saw the video, in my opinion, you have Laquan McDonald closing the distance between himself and Officer Jason Van Dyke. Clearly that video showed he was within, I think, 13 or 14 feet. I could go into all different types of training that I had as a police officer, 21-foot rule. I'm sure Jason Van Dyke had the same thing. We could go into all that, but from my perspective, he's closing the distance. He's getting closer to Jason Van Dyke. He gets that knife out. He extends that knife blade out. You only do that for one reason. You only do that because you're going to go on the offensive and you're going to attack somebody. It's not like he's putting the knife up to go home, folks.
And you're basing this.
I keep hearing 16 shots, 16 shots. I hear that all over the place. And look, we can sit here and have a debate about the 16 shots. I can give you my opinion of what happened with the 16 shots. I was a range officer. I spent many years as a range officer, training officers to do exactly what Officer Jason Van Dyke did. And that was to keep shooting until he no longer felt threatened. And who here could put themselves in his position and say, sure, from the safety and comfort of where you're at right now, you could say, well, I wouldn't have shot him 16 times. But put yourself in Jason Van Dyke's shoes that night. And would he have shot him 16 times? But ultimately, it doesn't matter, folks. The 16 shots really doesn't matter, because if deadly force is justified in this case, in this situation, then there's no crime here. Nowhere in the law does it say you can only fire 3, 4, or 5 times. It simply doesn't matter how many times he was shot if deadly force was justified. And I could give you a lot of reasons why 16 shots. Fear, for one. Police officers aren't robots. We can't go out there and just control ourselves and control fear. Jason Van Dyke kept shooting until he no longer felt threatened. And that is exactly what we train our officers to do. He had 16 rounds in the weapon. He kept shooting until he no longer felt threatened. And who here can justify when Jason Van Dyke no longer felt threatened? Only Jason can say that.
That does speak to the